Hi, everybody. This is Dr. Ramona, and I'm with my sister, Dr. Renee, and we're talking about week 2 of our 12-week Inspire Volume 1, Dr. Joe Dispenza's video log journal. So we are really excited. And I thought this week we are going to talk about what our process is shaping up to be. And then how we're each handling the different aspects of the actual practical aspects of doing that breath. Anything else we can think of the week?
Yeah, I think we should include how we're feeling about the process up to this point. We're 2 weeks in. Was there anything that's still challenging or continues to be challenging, things that are getting easier, kinds of things that might need more work?
Okay, well, let's get to it.
Let's do that.
So what does your daily process look like?
I'm still in here between 2 and 3, generally 2:30. Make sure that I get to bed early enough to make that work for me. And then always start with my kriyas because it's a really good process to begin bringing energy up to the head. But then I go directly into the breath, into the pineal gland breath. And I'm doing that.
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
I was just going to ask, what have you decided to do with that breath? How many times are you doing it?
Okay. I put the tracks that I like that syncs with me. I put them into a playlist and there's 4 of them on there right now. And by the end of this week, I have been going through the playlist 1.5 times. So I'm doing 6 of them. I haven't figured out how to get my playlist out of what's it called when it just messes
Apple?
them all out of shuffle. And it's just really, really annoying. I like it to go the direction that I've got them going because they bring up the energy and it comes back down and brings up the energy. When it shuffles them, it's all over the place. And I don't like it. So I know that I'm going through it one at a time the way I want them to. And it also cues me into how I'm doing because I know which track is coming up. And I can also gauge how my expression of making the pineal gland burst. Where am I? How many songs in before it started to warm up? Or to see that if it's shuffled, I can't tell a thing,
Cannot.
but if I order, then I can tell exactly where I am and how long it took for me to get there. It's just sort of vicarious information for me to know.
See that. Basically, it's just because at the beginning of this whole thing, having that order is a good idea. Because let's say this is only week 2, but maybe by week 4, you'll know that instead of having to go to the fifth song before something happens, it's happening in the second song. So that's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
sort of harbinger of the progress that's going on. So
right.
figure out how to get that shuffle out of there.
So that's what I did. And then after the shuffle, I'm doing the blessings of the energy centers, number 10, just to focus some energy into the heart, into the head, to all of the centers from the heart. So I'm really enjoying that this week. It seems to be a good come down, a sort of a place to find peace and expansion after all of the energy that's been exerted to do the pineal gland breath. After that, I'm listening to Om. So it takes me probably, a couple hours and a half to get through that. How about
Okay.
yourself? What's your
Um,
process?
well, there were more than 4 tracks that kind of resonated with me. I think 7 of them that I really liked. And I do the same thing in the sense that I can gauge where I'm at. But this is just week 2. My goodness, I'm just beginning to cue into the comfort of knowing, okay, so this is coming up next for me, and then this is coming up. That I like that comfort. There's some safety in there, and that just is comfortable at 3 o'clock in the morning. I don't know for me. So I do that, but I too begin with we do a Kriya practice every day for the last 15 years or whatever it is, right? So, but that takes about 45 minutes, I think. And I use it more like a warm up exercise for getting the breath used to the deep inhalations and exhalations, which is what we do with that pranayama. And that seems to be having impact for me. So I do that, I do the Kriya, and then I do the 7 of the tracks, 1 to the end, 1 to number 7. And by that time, I know that I've exerted probably another 40 minutes, maybe of time per session per day, because I only do it the one time in the day. And then after that, much like you, instead of doing the blessings of the energy center, I just jump into doing for another hour, somewhere between 45 minutes and an hour. And I like that because it does the same thing that you were kind of saying, is that it gives, because there's so much high energy to me and exertion right now. We have yet to talk about that, but there's so much exertion. So I'm kind of exhausted after doing the seven. And then I move into this gentling, this, how sometimes Dr. Joseph says, and then you just drift away. Home allows me to get centered and drift away. That's kind of my process. And that too, if I'm getting in between 2 and 4, somewhere in there, that'll take me until 6 or 7:30 in the morning, and I'm ready to get up and get into the day.
Let's talk about our intentions for the week, for this second week. Ultimately, my intention was to create some automaticity around this process. We shouldn't be so tired because you're actually bringing energy into the body to make this happen. So as it becomes more regulated, more coordinated, and more rhythmic and more ingrained in me, I should be getting less tired and gaining the energy that is actually being released when the pineal gland acts like that receiver and starts to channel energy in, not just out. So this week I really focused on the automaticity, trying to get it regulated, getting the breath process regulated through the first 3 chakras down below, and then pulling the air up higher into and underneath the pineal gland and trying to punch it into activity.
The theme is for this particular week is one long, slow breath. And I was focusing on that one long, slow breath because it seems to me, at least the way I'm feeling right now, because it's discombobulated in that there are different rhythms going on as I'm trying to figure out fast or slow, how far up or how fast to do it, or you just get exhausted. At least I feel like I get exhausted after repetitions over 45 minutes, 7 days a week. In this particular week, I was looking at using my intention to focus in on the power of breath. Because, like I said earlier, it was just doing Kriya could be used as a warm-up exercise. In its own way, of course, it's a way of expanding. But with Inspire, it's about breath. So I'm thinking this would be a really fantastic opportunity to just really focus the attention on sensory movement. That's what I've been thinking about, how the breath feels as it moves through the inner channels of the spine and up into the pineal gland. So that's where my attention has been. Because I'm thinking if I can feel it moving, it's like getting the serpent to move, right? From the perineum, you can feel that energy moving up, and feeling that energy has a lot to do with, in my opinion, understanding the movement of the breath.
I agree with that. I'm visualizing it as like a plug of air, a plug of energy that is moving up the cerebral spinal column.
When it gets to, is it going up smoothly as you're visualizing it, or does it stop when it gets?
No, I'm nothing stopping. Nothing stopping. Stopping is not what you want. You want it just to be smooth and continuous and rhythmic all the way up. And you're, in some ways, I'm almost feeling like that you're pulling up with you, besides the fact that we're creating a current in that direction, that you're pulling up some of the blockages that you might have down there and just dragging them up with you, up and out, and pulling them gone. And don't get the sense that might be happening. The heavy denseness that you have down there is being pulled.
Did you have any experiences this week that gave you that idea that might be happening, or where did that come from?
No, it's just the way I envisioned that pranayama is actually working. It's also a cleansing process when you're doing rhythmic pranayama. It's not just about bringing the breath up or through, it's about cleansing the entire system. And what are we cleansing it of? Stuck energies that are in the first, second, and third chakras in particular, because that's where we spend so much of our emotional time and energy. So I just see them as another opportunity to cleanse those areas of stuck energy as we're pulling that energy plug up towards the pineal.
Okay. Any experiences this week that are of note that we want to put down and remember? for the long haul.
Let me think about it. Is something coming to mind for you?
Yeah, well, for me, this week, again, in the sense of learning to coordinate with the rhythms of the music that I chose, some of the tracks have more energy and some are less energetic. And I find myself naturally responding in terms of the speed of my inhalation in a way that responds to that rhythm. And having said that, what I'm feeling is that there is a rhythm.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. There's a rhythm to it. The rhythm of the music assists you, but really what we're doing is creating a rhythm within us as the current starts to move and the vibrations start to happen. We are syncing our pushing, if you will, our intrinsic muscle pushing with that rhythm that is starting to develop. Is that what you were saying? What you're talking
Yes.
about?
And part of that is that long, slow breath, because that increasing sensitivity to what's going on in my spine helps me when I'm trying to figure out how quickly to breathe up and to pulse especially in the lower chakras, because that's one of the things that's been confusing, because some of the more quick tracks seem to have there's this disconnect, and it's a little frustrating because I just feel like, okay, I'm not in sync, I haven't got my rhythm yet, and I know that, but there's this, it's just like there's different rhythms going on, lower, slower, and then faster, higher. And this is week 2.
And this is week 2. So we may be able to bring those two together. But the fact is that as the chakras go up, so does their frequency. So there's a different rhythm in those frequencies. The chakras themselves have different frequencies. So it could be you're just more sensitive to the upper chakra frequencies and they're faster than the ones
Oh,
down below.
that's really cool. Yeah. Yeah,
And so
that
we're
could.
starting to sense as you get up there, it needs to be moved, got to move it a little bit as you get further up because their frequency, they just want more out of us.
And that is so interesting. I don't know, what was it that we were watching recently? Some
Mm-mm.
explanation about the speed of, oh, it was one of those courses with John Stewart Reed, and he was talking about the frequency of sound. And in the ultrasound range, the frequencies are so fast that you literally cannot see them, right? There's certain frequencies that we can see with our eyes. We have a
It's
certain
a
amount.
band.
But in the higher frequencies, beyond what we can see, the frequency of vibration is so fast that it looks like it's single
Like it
solid.
almost looks like it's still.
So here's what
Yeah.
I'm thinking. What if, and then we'll have a chance to see that in the next so many weeks, if as we begin to coordinate this breath, the rhythms that Dr. Joe was talking about, you can only go so fast. Saying, but what if I think that there might be a way to go faster, and that is to move from body to mind. This is
Yeah. And maybe there's something about the harmonics comes into play because harmonics are of the same bass tone or higher frequencies of the same resonance. So we're getting ourselves into some sort of a resonance. And I bet you that's what we're aiming for is to find the resonance of our own body up at the top. The pineal gland is what I'm talking about. And maybe even the seventh chakra once the pituitary gets into action. There's a combined there
combined
is
what?
a combined frequency there that is ours, uniquely ours. But we'll see. We're only in week 2. Let's just see where this takes us. I know I agree with you with respect to what's going on with the experiences. I think I could say that it feels a little bit less erratic than week 1. So things are coming in a little bit more under control in terms of lock everything down, pull it up. I think I've got that understanding. The body's only a muscle. The body's starting to understand what I want it to do when I'm intending to do that and bring it up to the pineal gland. So I'm getting more control on that. I'm being able to stay more focused. I have noticed that I'm drinking a lot more water. And I think that water is the foundation of all of our lives, of human and I would say earthly life in general is water. The more water that we have in our system as we're beginning the process of doing the pineal gland, the better it will be for us to be able to spread that frequency around to all of our 37 plus trillion cells. We need more water. So I think that's one of the things that I'm going to incorporate into my process. If I can remember, is making sure that I either drink more water during the days or at least drink more water before I begin this process in the middle of the night. Take a glass of water and drink it down just to assist with the profusion of frequency throughout the.
And it's very fast, just from our own
What?
practice, you know, that how quickly you can take a glass of water and have it impact your physiological numbers. So, like, yeah, the idea of drinking something before you start, that seems like a really good idea. It might also keep you from having a headache. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. I can say that there were a few bursts of light this time around. I think that you mentioned it to me once during the week that you were starting to see some bursts of light. And so that's really cool. Great. Sort of lets me know that things are going in the right direction. The heat has not stopped. If nothing else, I know that once I get to dripping, I'm good. I've sort of done my job with the amount of time that I'm getting here at 2:30. So I better be dripping by the time I'm done. Just the recognition that heat is required to release energy. And so there's some energy that's coming into the system or being released or being downloaded. Either way, there's some energy transfer going on and it's manifesting itself as heat. So I'm sort of excited about that. I like that idea.
One thing that I have noted is that when I'm at the very end of being able to hold my breath, it's like, I can't hold
Yeah.
it anymore. That's when I see through the third eye. I see a what I perceive to be a transition zone. Like there's a more intense gathering of light plunks.
Plunks, plunks, popping in and out of reality. That's what they
Yes,
are. Gotta
yes,
be.
yes, yes. Okay, so I'm seeing more of that happening in a shorter period of time. And it usually happens at the end of my being able to hold my breath. So sometimes it's good and I have a little bit more of it, and I just have to let it go and I breathe. So, but there's a profusion of beautiful hues of violet and rose that I see. But I know that if I can get that to happen with the long, slow, deep breath and then the pulsation, then something is about to happen. But I'm looking forward to next week. I'm working still really hard on that. Some days it just seems like I'm doing it and doing it, and I just have to keep reminding myself what the intention is and what the goal is so that I don't feel like, why isn't it happening? Why hasn't it happened? And of course, we know, but when you're actually doing something, you have to keep reminding yourself that you don't know everything that's happened to you and all your experiences, but you don't know exactly how physiologically they've impacted your abilities to the breath, right? We don't know what blocks are there. We can work with those, but then there's like an onion, there's always more to deal with. So that makes us each unique. You unique from me. We may have lived most of our lives together and apart as well, but it's those uniquenesses that are expressing themselves in the different ways.
And we
Having,
have to give ourselves an opportunity to equilibrate to a higher level of energy.
yeah, I know.
That's the big deal is that you wish you could just go right up and over and stay in there all the time, but our cells can only take so much frequency. They're not set to stay in gamma all the time. They're material. So they have to learn. I mean, all our cells, they have to learn to be able to absorb higher frequencies and stay in those higher frequencies comfortably. So we may be able to get a burst and then it's just like, oh, and then it's gone. It's completely gone because not everything can absorb that. But as I feel the heat getting into my head, I'm basically telling myself, though, that it's like every single cell in there all the neurons, all the cells all over the body are becoming equilibrated to a higher frequency. And so over these next 10 weeks, I'm assuming that this will become more comfortable because I'm going to be spending a lot more head time in that space. And I'm looking forward to that because I'm assuming that we can spend more time in the gamma, and I'm looking forward to that. All right.
That should do it, huh? Then I will recap with you next week.
Any last words? I know I'm more motivated to keep going. What about
And
yourself?
I'm keeping my eye on the prize.
Okay.
All right.
Well,
I'll see you next week.
see you next week.
Please take a moment to subscribe to our channel. That way you'll be notified every time we upload a new segment in our 12-week Inspire Volume 1 video journal series. If you'd like to start your own journey, you can purchase Dr. Joe's Inspire Volume 1 10 Tracks to Master the Breath album using the direct link in the description. Happy breathing!